Morning, love, peace, blessing, all forms of health and abundance uh, to you, Genothi Seutan. And today I want to talk about really cool scripture from Romans. It says, faith calls those things that are not as though they are. And very powerful, very incredible. And when we get a little bit too left brain about things and we, just try to overthink things and, just get entangled with them, it can make it a little bit difficult. But when we have an energetic understanding of the world that we live in, and what I think is really incredible is one of, if there's anybody that knows human physiology, that knows human biology, that knows the way the human body truly works, it is without a doubt Bruce Lipton. Of course, there could be somebody else, but as far as I know, he's definitely one of the top minds of understanding, us and how we work. He was cloning stem cells, back in the 80s. So the guy knows what he's talking about. And one of the most interesting things that he says is that the movie The Matrix, he says, that's not a movie, that's a documentary. But when you look at it that way and you think, okay, it's a different way of thinking the way our world works. And what happens is that, we all, are habitual beings by nature. And so we kind of settle into this, this lull. And of course, we got all the influence for us to be a mainstream species, to not be, who we truly are created to be, but to be, basically a worker class that can support other classes. And you can decide who those other classes might be for yourself. But anyway, the influence that can tend to herd the general public into a flock, really does not have our best interest at heart. And so that's the power of Genothi Seutan, which means know yourself, know yourself. Know what your habitual thoughts are. Know what you're thinking. Know what your core beliefs are. Because the reality is, that's what is creating your reality. And so that's the cool thing about the scripture from Romans. The Apostle Paul said, faith calls things that are not as though they are. And so we're talking about faith. It's an energy. It's a type of energy like love or peace or happiness or joy. It's an energy. It's a feeling, and we know from just thousands of years of people who have dedicated their lives to studying the spirit life, to studying the way spirit works. And one of the powerful teachings that they have handed down is that the feeling is the prayer. And fantastic. So thankful to Greg Braden, for revealing that in one of his seminars. Changed my life, when I recognized it. And when you realize that we are vibrational beings living in a vibrational universe, which is another thing that the ancients tried to communicate to us, it really totally makes sense that the feeling is the prayer. And again, now with all of our awesome research in quantum physics, epigenetics, the science proves that it's true. So again, that's always the challenge of, again, Genothi Seutan, knowing yourself, experiencing something. When we do something and we're remembering what it feels like, and we're trying to reproduce the same result, we can, and somebody else says, well, how do you do that? And you try to explain it. It's kind of like Tiger Woods explaining his gift of golfing, Michael Jordan explaining his gifts of basketball, and so on. And so what happens is that sometimes in the explanation, the true meaning is lost in translation, because what they are explaining may be something different than the way that we understand it, or the way that we're used to using those words. And that's why Ginothi Seutan is so powerful, because when we know ourselves and we can understand ourselves and understand how our own emotions are working. And that's why it's so powerful to remember, because we all have, at least everyone, as far as I know, has experiences of deja vu. So we recognize that there is a spirit realm. There's a higher interaction of the human brain, that is beyond our habitual thinking, that is beyond the limits of the mainstream species. And most people, I'm sure, have had an experience where you say, oh, wow, gee, I'd like that to happen, or gee, I'd like to have this, or gee, I'd like to have that. And next thing you know, it happens. Or next thing you know, you have that. And so we recognize that there is a spirit realm. And the problem is that, over our history, of course, that's been manipulated a little bit, maybe even more than a little bit. Different religions, and that's not to say any one religion is wrong, or there's anything wrong with any religion, but the people who take faith and have manipulated the use of faith for their own purpose, most of the time to build armies, to go and take somebody else's stuff that didn't belong to them. It just became an effective way of going over and taking people's stuff that didn't belong to them. And we have just a history of offense, and just all different types of influence that has created. And here we are today, living in a wartime mentality, being the inheritors of a wartime mind, and not recognizing the way that faith truly works, the way that humans truly work. And the cool thing is I see it all over the place. Humanity is really changing. It's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. Things that years ago you thought only a few people knew and understood is absolute common knowledge now. And I believe we've hit the threshold. For anybody who's studied the Maharishi effect, or has studied the Middle East Peace Project, recognize that it's only a square root of 1% of a population feeling a positive feeling that can have an effect on the rest of the populace. And so I believe we've reached that, and I believe we're in, we are in the age, in the time of allowing the manifestation of the original garden paradise that our earth was created as. It's manifesting. It's manifesting right now. And there always seems to be, kind of like an echo of the past that kind of, keeps a little bit of a repeating manifestation, but it is not it's not the majority now. It really isn't. So while we may still see things, and while there may still be political influences that are still trying to influence us to still see the world that way, it's really kind of interesting. I was talking to somebody the other day and saying, yeah, the only thing America makes anymore is hamburgers and houses. And all you got to do is go down any interstate, get off any city, and you will see that United States just has unbelievably amounts of factories that are still running, that are still producing. I'm driving right now. If you look around me, I mean, there's trucks in front of me, there's trucks behind me. That means that, that our economy of manufacturing and merchandise, it really doesn't change. It keeps going. It may slow down a little bit. It may have, interruptions, but they are all engineered. they are all man-made, and some may be for what somebody believes is the betterment or the for humankind to evolve in the form of influencing us to just pollute the earth and pollute ourselves, pollute our environment less. We don't know. I mean, we don't know what's going on in the grander scheme of things. But what you can know, Genothi Seutan, to understand yourself more, is that there is a version of the story and then there is the truth. And if you can unplug yourself from mainstream media and people who are hypnotized and are, puppeteered by mainstream media, walking, talking, and repeating, just the parrot repetition of what they have heard. And you can actually get away from that. Stop listening to, the news. Stop watching the news, and get in contact with Mother Nature. Get in contact. Look around. Look at all the factories. Recognize that America is making more than just hamburgers and houses. Again, no judgment against anybody who said that, because again, they're trying to make a point. They're trying to influence, what they believe is good for America and our economy, and good for them for trying to do the best that they can do. I think that there's incredible pressure over people in any type of authority, any type of leadership. And just like parents, you get under pressure because you fear that something can go wrong. I mean, you want the best for your children, and anybody who's in a place of authority, they're in a parental position. And so, of course, it's easy to be manipulated. It's easy to fall under the influence of fear. And that's totally human. But when we can recognize that we have a creative ability, that we have the ability to manifest our destiny, to manifest our own desires, and when we realize that the feeling is the prayer, when we start becoming aware of our own personal energy, aware that hey, whatever you're feeling right now is creating your very near future, and the distant future, and we can start to recognize, oh, okay, we can take control of our feelings, we can take control of our emotions, and we can choose them instead of allowing them to be chosen for us, and that we can call those things that are not as though they are. We can look at something that we really don't want, that we want freedom from, that we want to be healed of. We can look at things that we don't want to be limited by. We can look at our current situation and desire greater abundance, health, financial future, again, freedom. And we can start calling those things that are not as though they are. We can start imagining. One great Aramaic translation of the scripture that says, when you stand praying, believe that you receive. The Aramaic version says that when you stand praying, be surrounded by your prayer. Be surrounded by that which you are praying for. In other words, like visualizing, like imagine that you already have it. Believe that you receive. Imagine that you already have it. Imagine that it's already yours. Imagine what it would feel like if you already had it. Because remember, the feeling is the prayer. So just like any time that you've imagined something happening, imagining what it would feel like, imagining how you would feel if you had it, and next thing you know, it happened. That's the key. That's the secret. That's the way that we call those things that are not as though they are. Deepest love, peace, blessing, abundance, health, healing, happiness, love unto you and your family. Genothi Seutan.